25 years ago, it would have not been possible for me to stand right here because I'm in Kosovo, a country within former Yugoslavia that fought a very long and painful war against its neighboring country Serbia because Kosovo wanted to become independent, though until this day, Kosovo is not recognized as a country by every single country on earth. Even though Kosovo officially gained independence in 2008, countries like China, Russia, and even Spain don't recognize it. After the breakup of communist Yugoslavia, Kosovo Albanians, who made up the majority of the population, wanted to become independent, while Serbs wanted to remain under Belgrade's control. What began as ethnic tension soon turned violent, and in 1999, NATO decided to enter the war. This highly controversial intervention ultimately ended the war that same year, but along the way, not only were many civilian lives lost, hundreds of thousands of people were displaced. To this day, war and violence have left their marks on the small country of Kosovo.
Good morning to Pristina, capital of Kosovo. Today we're gonna make our way to Mitrovica, a smaller town an hour from Pristina that saw severe conflicts during the Kosovo War. The interesting thing about this town nowadays is that it has a rather high Serbian population. And due to the conflicts, the town is basically divided. And that's where we're gonna travel today. And to get there, I rented this car here, so we're gonna drive. The thing is though, I haven't been driving for almost a year, so this is definitely gonna be really interesting. And I really hope everything's gonna go well. I'm a little bit nervous. I do have a driver's license, but I do not use it very often, so fingers crossed that Kosovo traffic won't be too bad. So let's do this.
For decades, Kosovo was an autonomous province inside socialist Yugoslavia. But in 1989, Serbia, which controlled Yugoslavia's leadership, took away Kosovo's autonomy and placed the region under its direct rule. As Yugoslavia began to break apart in the 1990s, resistance among Kosovo Albanians grew stronger, and by 1998, clashes between Kosovo Albanians and Kosovo Serbs had turned into open war. When peace talks failed, NATO began bombing Yugoslavia on March 24, 1999, without UN approval. The air campaign lasted 78 days, hit targets in Belgrade, and caused many civilian deaths.
So the interesting thing about Mitrovica, the town we're going to, is that a lot of Serbs are living there. That's why back then there were a lot of clashes, a lot of conflicts in that town. And even nowadays there is quite a high Serbian population, and it's kind of like split nowadays. So north of the river, that's where all the Serbians got put to, so they live north of the river. South of the river, that's where all the Kosovans live. And in the middle, it is like basically divided, and that's the very interesting thing about this town.
Welcome to Mitrovica. We have arrived. We are here on the Kosovan side of Mitrovica, and this looks like a very average, smaller Kosovo town so far. I am standing here in front of the KFC and I'm seeing something I've never seen before. Thank you, USA, the Kentucky burger. So you can see how much people here love the United States. This is probably the country that has the best opinion of the United States that I've ever been to. And this is crazy. So yeah, people here view the United States as their liberator.
The NATO intervention in 1999 was led by the United States under President Bill Clinton.
Our mission is clear: to demonstrate the seriousness of NATO's purpose.
It was carried out without official authorization from the United Nations, making it highly controversial. Still, after the atrocities in Bosnia just a few years earlier, many countries supported the airstrikes, even though they were targeting the sovereign country of Serbia.
One thing that's really, really interesting though is when the US decided to intervene here, when they decided that NATO would start bombing Serbia. This was exactly the time when the Monica Lewinsky affair was going on with Bill Clinton, when it became public that they had an affair. And right after that huge scandal came out, and it was the only thing the media in the States was talking about it at the time. And that's exactly the time when Clinton decided, oh yeah, NATO has to intervene in the Kosovo war. We have to save the Kosovo Albanians. And well, is there any better distraction than entering a war just so media won't talk about your affair anymore?
Before we continue exploring, we're gonna have some lunch because the food here is just so good. So food in Kosovo is very, very similar to Albanian food because people have the same roots. And there's a dish I haven't tried yet. It's peppers in cream, and that here is it. So yeah, it really looks like peppers in cream, in warm cream. We're gonna get some bread with it. So let's try that. I think I'm just gonna dip it in. So this is a very popular warm dish here in the region. I think it's usually eaten as an appetizer. Cheers. Wow, this is really good. So this cream tastes very peppery. It's like warm, it's very creamy, it's very mild. The bread comes with some sort of herbs, and this is really good. This is a really, really good dish. There's even one big pepper in here. One thing that's culturally really, really interesting to me is that here in Albania and Kosovo, pretty much in every restaurant you're allowed to smoke. And there's even people walking around selling cigarettes in here. There's the guy. He was just in here selling cigarettes in here in the restaurant because it's just so normalized to just smoke everywhere here in this country.
The food was really, really good, and it came out to be only €4. So this is really affordable, and if there's one thing you cannot complain about here in Kosovo, then it's the prices, because this is probably one of the most affordable countries I've ever been to. And I've been to a lot of countries, and definitely by far the most affordable country in Europe. And now we're heading towards the main pedestrian bridge here in the city center. And this bridge is really special nowadays because it is completely blocked off for car traffic, so only pedestrians can cross nowadays. Plus, from what I've heard, it's patrolled by police or military because this bridge crosses the river, which is basically the separation between Kosovo Albanians and Serbs. So now we're gonna try crossing that bridge and crossing into the Serbian part of the town. Over there, we're getting close. You see, like, all of this is like barricaded off. This is the bridge where we're headed to. Let's see if we can just cross it or if there are any checks. I'm not exactly sure how it works. It is like really empty here. I don't think many people are trying to get over to the Serbian side. The police car over there is actually Italian. I think there are peacekeepers around nowadays because it can happen that there are still conflicts. I think the last major conflicts here, violent conflicts, were in the 2000s. So that here is the river that divides the town of Mitrovica nowadays. So the police car here behind me actually has a K4 sticker. So they are actually working for the NATO. And welcome to the Serbian side, guys. Here we already see the first memorial, and you can see it is actually written in Serbian. And from what I've noticed during this 2 weeks of staying in Albania and Kosovo, people here are super nationalist. So having this city, Mitrovica, that is divided between people from Kosovo and people from Serbia, I can't imagine that there are a lot of tensions here. Like, I really can't imagine it because this whole war, this whole conflict is not very long ago. It was in the late 1990s. And a lot of people still have this like so clearly in their memories. So yeah, it's a very interesting geopolitical situation here nowadays. And just like on the Kosovo side, we have a very nice pedestrian area here with like lots of cafes and restaurants. Very European feeling. I do think though that we can see that the other side did look nicer than the Serbian side. Just like more cleaned up, more maintained, a little bit more developed, which makes sense because Kosovo got so much money from a lot of Western countries, including the United States, just to rebuild. Not only Kosovo loves the United States, also Serbia does. There's this poster of Trump. The thing is, I have literally no idea why they like Trump so much, but apparently Trump has the highest approval rate in Serbia, and I don't know why that is. My guess is probably because Melania is from Slovenia, so according to a Serb, she might be from Yugoslavia. I don't know if Melania would agree with that, and this is also only my guess, but yeah, apparently this country loves Trump. There are some remnants of Serbian flags around, like up here. There used to hang a Serbian flag, but my guess is they probably get ripped down by people from the other side of Mitrovica. And if you're wondering where the police is from, the police here in this part of Mitrovica, they are also from Kosovo. So there's no Serbian police here. Another thing that I just noticed that is really, really interesting is that people here use Serbian currency. For example, these soccer balls are 490 of Serbian money, whereas over there on the other side in Kosovo, people actually use the euro. So they do use different currencies here. And walking through the streets, you also hear people just speaking a different language. People in Kosovo speak Albanian, which sounds really similar to Italian for me personally. Over here, people speak Serbian. I feel like we got a good impression of the Serbian side of Mitrovica. Let's head back over to the Kosovan side, which is just right over there. We're gonna say goodbye now to the Christian Orthodox land, and we're heading back over to the Kosovan Albanian side, and you can already see the towers of the mosques there in the background. So let's head back. Now we are on our way to a small village town outside of Mitrovica, and from the research I've done, I think this town is now abandoned, and that's what we're gonna check out. So we have arrived to Stanterg. That's what this town is called. And looking around, everything here is abandoned. This town here, Stanterg, got abandoned in 1999 during the war. A lot of the buildings here were destroyed and burned down. And nowadays you can see everything here is just locked off. You can see everything here is falling into pieces. And here you still see like all of these holes everywhere. Here, these could be bullet holes from the war back then when Kosovo Albanians fought against Kosovo Serbs and everything here got destroyed. You see the hammer and sickle up there? So this thing, it says 1966. So with a hammer and sickle, this is from Yugoslavia times, back then when Kosovo was part of Yugoslavia. It was an autonomous region, so they had a lot of rights, but obviously it wasn't independent. And later on, before the fall of communism, Serbia actually took the rights away. So Kosovo wasn't autonomous anymore. And that is one reason why, after the fall of Yugoslavia, why the people wanted to be independent, because they lost their autonomous status and they just simply didn't want to be Serbian, because, as I said, the majority of people living here was Kosovo Albanian.
Before Yugoslavia was formed in 1918, the area that is now Kosovo had a long and complex history. For centuries it changed hands, from the medieval Serbian state to the Ottoman Empire, but it never gained lasting independence. After communist Yugoslavia collapsed in the 1990s, Kosovo's Albanian majority pushed for independence, while Serbia sought to keep the region under its own control.
And up here, so these are definitely bullet holes. Look at all of these holes here in the wall. And nowadays, these places here, these abandoned buildings, seem to be just full of trash. And they emanate a very, very strong odor. Just looking at the amount of bullet holes up here gives a really good impression of how severe the war must have been back then. That's crazy, there are so many. And the thing is, before NATO intervened, the conflict between Albanian Kosovans and Serbian Kosovans has been going on for years. After NATO decided to intervene and to start bombing civilian targets, with the most major event being the television broadcasting center in Belgrade, the capital of Serbia, being bombed, and I think around 14 civilians lost their lives by NATO. So obviously after that happened, Serbs were very agitated. And this is when the ethnic cleansings happened here in this region.
NATO's airstrikes on Serbia and its capital Belgrade were launched without UN approval, prompting many to condemn the operation as a breach of international law. Critiques say the North Atlantic Treaty Organization exaggerated Serbian atrocities and inflated the number of displaced Kosovo Albanians to justify the bombings. Amnesty International labeled parts of the campaign as potential war crimes, and as NATO's airstrikes hit civilian and non-military targets, protests erupted around the world. To this day, NATO's actions divide opinion between a humanitarian rescue and an act of unlawful aggression.
And we shouldn't forget that NATO never got permission by the UN to do that. No, they just decided we're gonna enter this war without permission by the UN. Instead of looking for more peaceful, more diplomatic solutions to solve this conflict. Hidden in the bushes, I found something very interesting. I found the remnants of a church. And nowadays, the last standing wall is reinforced with this scaffolding kind of thing to keep at least this part of the church and to preserve it. And my guess is that this church here behind me was probably destroyed by Albanian Kosovans back then during the war, because the majority of them was Muslim, and if they see a church, for sure they will destroy it. But I'm 100% sure it was the same thing the other way around. If Serbs would have seen a mosque back then, for sure they would have destroyed it. Now we are on our way to the house of Adem Jashari, who is something like a national hero nowadays in Kosovo, because he is actually the founder of the KLA, the Kosovo Liberation Army.
Adem Jashari was one of the founders of the Kosovo Liberation Army. Today, in both Albania and Kosovo, he's seen as the father of the country's independence movement. However, in 1998, he was killed during a Serbian police operation in his home village of Prekaz.
And we've arrived to the memorial house of Adem Jashari. It is right over here, so let's head over. Here we have a souvenir shop, and you can not only get Albanian merch and drip, they also have these huge America flags in there. Oh, hi! And I think I made a little friend out here. I feel like the United States have such a different image here in Kosovo and also in Albania. It's just completely different than anywhere else in the world, especially right now. But now let's head over to the memorial house. Adem Jashari is a really, really important figure in Albanian history because he was crucial for the KLA, the Kosovo Liberation Army, that wanted Kosovo to be independent and that fought against the Serbs. And Adem Jashari was a really important figure. And this is not only the house where he grew up and lived with his family. This is the very place where he got murdered by Serbs. And not only him, his whole family got murdered. So a massacre happened here in which around 60 people lost their lives. And nowadays, both of these buildings are preserved so that people can travel here and remember. And just look at this level of destruction down here. That is crazy. All of these here are just like bullet holes. And thanks to the efforts of preserving this building, we can actually still see the remnants.
After the Kosovo Liberation Army attacked Serbian forces, Serbia responded with a massive military operation, using tanks, helicopters and heavy weapons against several villages in Kosovo. As the assault spread, many KLA fighters and their families retreated to Adem Jashari's compound. Serbian forces surrounded the area and gave them 2 hours to surrender. While some families left, around 58 people stayed inside. After a 2-day siege, Serbian forces overran the compound, killing almost everyone inside, including Adem Jashari. This became one of the most tragic and defining moments of the Kosovo conflict.
Seeing this amount of destruction down there with all of these bullet holes, that is just crazy. Because there were so many people in here, including children, and all of them just got shot down back then. So I really do appreciate that this scaffolding was put up around the building so that you can walk around and you can witness this level of destruction yourself. And you can just imagine what this would have been like back then. This is the end of our little road trip through Kosovo and exploring some of the history, of the very dark history of this very new country. And thank you so much for watching this video until the end. I really appreciate your support. I'm gonna head back to Pristina now to give back my rental car, and then my next destination will be Serbia actually. And I hope I'm gonna see you there again and you're gonna join me on my next adventure, which I'll probably upload next Thursday. Bye bye.